It's wild card weekend. That means NFL playoffs are here. We're going to break down each and every matchup, starting with Indianapolis Colts facing the Buffalo Bills on Saturday. We're going to give a quick overview, give you our picks, and a little preview of which players we're keeping a special eye on for fantasy football purposes. So let's get right into it. Chris, this is an interesting matchup of two teams who really want to go all the way. One with a really veteran quarterback in Philip Rivers, and then a young quarterback who might even be an MVP candidate in Josh Allen.
Yeah, this is that classic matchup of offense versus defense, right? We have the Bills offense that's just been on fire lately, going against one of the best defenses in the NFL in the Colts. So this is that classic, which one wins, offense or defense?
Absolutely. The Colts started out the year on fire defensively. Darius Leonard's kind of the anchor there, but they've been letting up a little bit recently. It's been more about the offense for them. So it'll be interesting to see if this turns into a shootout or not. The over-under on this game right now is pretty high relative to the other games. It's at 52, and the Bills are favored. Of course, they're the home team. Home field advantage really isn't going to make a difference this year in the playoffs. Do you think that the weather might be a factor? Of course, Indy usually plays in a dome, and Buffalo, of course, we don't know what the weather's going to be like, but I guarantee it's probably going to be cold.
Yes, you got to think Buffalo in January, probably going to be a little bit chilly, but you're right. Home field is not the advantage it used to be outside of weather, so shouldn't be an issue for Indianapolis unless, we get reports of a crazy storm rolling in, which I haven't heard of. So I don't think weather will be the issue here, but you're also right about this game. Could be one of the highest scoring games on the weekend. So definitely a game I'm looking forward to and interested to watch.
Yeah, Buffalo coming in definitely on a roll. They just rolled my Dolphins out of the playoffs. It might be a little bit of recency bias at play here for me at least, but just the way they're playing, especially the quarterback, Josh Allen. There's not much more we can say about him. Nobody saw this coming. I think this emergence to the next level, I didn't see that really ever for him reaching the level he's playing at this year, but especially so quickly. So I have a pretty good feeling about that team, but Indy has been tough all year. But aside from the obvious stars, who's a player that you're looking at, going to keep a special eye on to see how he performs in this game?
Yeah, well, speaking of that Buffalo passing attack, I want to really watch Gabriel Davis, the rookie wide receiver there in Buffalo. We saw some flashes this year, especially in games where John Brown missed. Now John Brown is back; he will be playing, so that will limit his snaps and his touches. But still, I want to see what he can do because he's a guy. If you missed it, we just posted a video about second-year wide receiver breakouts. You can check it out. I didn't have him as a second-year breakout simply because, he's behind Stephon Diggs and John Brown. But he's a guy I'll be keeping my eye on going into 2021 drafts. And I really want to see how he performs, on the big stage in the playoffs. So I'm definitely going to be watching Gabriel Davis.
Yeah, it's funny because he's been at times, at least in flashes, just as impressive as a lot of the rookie wide receivers who were drafted much higher and had more prominent roles. You can imagine what Davis might be able to do with extended snaps. And another wide receiver worth mentioning is Cole Beasley because he didn't play in week 17. He has, I believe it's a knee injury. If he doesn't go, that could mean a lot more routes for Davis. He could have a bigger role than people expect. I think Beasley should be good to go. They're kind of resting him to get him ready, but you never know if it flares up again. So, yeah, that might be a guy who flies under the radar. And then I'm going to go more obvious pick here. Who I'm going to keep an eye on is Jonathan Taylor of the Colts. We already know what Philip Rivers can do. Okay. But Taylor is really going to be what makes this offense run. He has been absolutely on fire to end the season after fantasy owners were just massively disappointed, especially drafting him so high. He really didn't do anything the first half of the season. People were dropping him in fantasy leagues. You can believe it or not. But in the last few games since week 11, he's averaging 123 rushing yards per game, and he capped it off with 253 yards in week 17. Now, I know week 17, that game doesn't mean really too much for a lot of teams, and it really did not mean anything for Jacksonville. So you might kind of throw that out, but still, we didn't see him getting to that level based on how he performed early in the season. So I'm curious, now that he's going against a tough Buffalo defense, now that he's going in a game with a lot of pressure as the guy, what is he going to do and how is he going to perform?
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm excited to see Jonathan Taylor play this weekend. If you look at his run that he's had down the stretch outside of Pittsburgh, he hasn't really faced a good defense like he's going to face against Buffalo. So definitely curious to see what he does. And he went 10th in our mock draft that we're currently doing. Stay tuned to see the results of that. We will be covering that here on the channel, but just a little heads up or a little sneak peek, I guess. He went 10th in that draft. So certainly the Jonathan Taylor hype is on full alert right now, and it'll be interesting to see how he does not only this week, but maybe in the future if Indianapolis is able to advance.
Look, if he puts up a huge game in the playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go over guys like Zeke and Saquon Barkley in drafts next year. The hype train will be out of control. So let's see. All right, before we give you our picks, so who we think is going to win this game, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. It takes just 1 second, and click on the notification bell as well. You can catch all of our playoff previews right here in this channel and off-season content. All right, let's get to it. Who do you think takes this game?
I got to go with Buffalo. I just don't see the Colts defense, first of all, being able to stop Josh Allen and this offense. They are red hot right now. And that offensive line is doing such an amazing job of giving Josh Allen time. And he's been incredibly accurate, making great decisions. And on the flip side, I don't think the Colts offense is good enough to be able to keep up with this Bills offense. So I do expect a high scoring game, but in the end, I think Buffalo takes it.
And I'm going to have to agree. Again, maybe it's a little recency bias at play, but you know what we see more often than not, a team that goes in, maybe not as a top seed, but can make a run deep in the playoffs. It's a team that has a hot quarterback, right? Just ask any team that's had Nick Foles. All right. So if you have somebody like Joe Flacco, and I'm not saying that he's like those, but Josh Allen has a higher pedigree. He's a guy who is just on fire right now, all of a sudden jumping in the MVP conversation. I think that they have the goods to go maybe to the Super Bowl even. I really like the Colts in general, their makeup of their team. They're really balanced. If they had drawn a different matchup, I actually might have picked them in the first round, but I can't pick anybody against Buffalo right now. So I'm going Bills too. And I think they'll win probably by double digits. All right, guys. So if this video helped you, again, we appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. We're going to be back with more previews of every single game, wildcard weekend, and throughout the playoffs, along with more great content. So don't forget, keep tuned. All right, thanks for watching.